What is going on, everybody? This is Mike from Big Fat Ghost Vinyl here, coming at you with another classic album review. Today we are stepping into grunge, and I figured for my 10 subscriber special, which is what this video is, thanks everybody, why not review 10, right? Awesome, right? 10 is one of those albums that is just a time capsule, I think, of the early 90s. For sure, one of the best albums of the grunge explosion of Seattle. There's an argument to be made that it's the best. I think it's the most classic rock-tinged iteration, versus Nevermind's punk pop or Alice in Chains dirt kind of metal tinged grunge. But yeah, what is there to say about 10? Yeah, it's certified 13 times platinum. It's 13 million units moved. It's probably besides Nevermind, probably the most notable grunge album in terms of FM play. I mean, I can only imagine the 90s. You got Alive, Even Flow, and Jeremy probably coming on the radio every 5 seconds. So yeah, let's just get into a couple notes here. So album was released on August 27th, 1991. So we got that right there, you know what I mean? That's the grunge explosion right there, 1991. How many great albums came out that year? Right. I mean, grunge was rewriting the rules of heavy music, and Seattle was obviously at the forefront of rock music at that time. And I mean, if you can't tell, I love grunge. It's just one of those genres, one of those little niches that, was classic. And I think grunge was kind of the last dying breath of classic rock. Because a lot of people might not say these albums are classic, and in the sense of 70s music is definitely classic rock, but I think as we move forward, these albums are certainly getting to that point where I think they can be deemed classic rock albums. And Pearl Jam 10 is certainly a great example. So let's just get into personnel here. Of course, we have Eddie Vedder on vocals. This is obviously the debut for the band, so I think this was reformed of the ashes of Mother Love Bone. If you look at behind me, I have Temple of the Dog, which also featured Eddie Vedder on, I think, 1 or 2 tracks. But basically, this was a conglomerate band from a few other early grunge explosion bands of Seattle. So, Pearl Jam is just one of the top. I mean, I think you look at what band has had the most longevity out of grunge, it was for sure Pearl Jam. I mean, I don't think any of their members have passed away. None of them have succumbed to drug abuse, which is unlike a lot of the other grunge bands, unfortunately. And I think Pearl Jam is kind of that poster child of the band that got out. And they obviously changed their sound after the first couple albums, but besides the point, we have Eddie Vedder here. Of course, iconic vocals on Eddie Vedder, known for his guttural sound. That imitates a lot of classic rock singers, but he was imitated himself. You listen to Creed, or you listen to Stone Temple Pilots. These guys, it was an iconic sound, and they definitely wanted to imitate Vedder for good reason, because Vedder's vocals here are just phenomenal here on some of these tracks, guys. Of course, we got Mike McCready on lead guitar, great guitarist here, of course. What is there to say about Mike McCready? He's probably one of the best guitarists of grunge. I'd have to give it to Jerry Cantrell, but I think he's probably either top 3, top 5. So he's on lead guitar. Then we got Stone Gossard on rhythm guitar. We got Dave Cruson on drums. And we got Jeff Ament on bass. So that is Pearl Jam circa 1991 on this album. And of course, there's a few other musicians that are kind of, auxiliary to the side here, but just give them a nod here. So, it was produced by Rick Parisher and the band themselves. So, So basically, What is there to say about 10? This, obviously being a grunge album, has a lot of suicide, isolation, drug tinged subject matter. It's a dark album. It may not sound dark as, Dirt or In Utero, but it is, subject matter is, of course, there. Yeah. So, can we go into, like I said, it's more classic tinged. I think there's a lot more influence of, classic music, classical rock here. That made no sense, but I think you know what I mean. Versus, the other few albums I have behind me, a la Soundgarden as well, being very progressive tinged, I think. But yeah, so let's get into the track listing here. And this album starts off with a little bit of an instrumental, but it goes into Once. And yeah, it is Vedder on arrival here. Just the solemn power of his vocals. It's just, what can you say about this album? It's really just, I think it's really bolstered by Vedder's vocals. So many great vocal hooks on each one of these songs. It's just, a lot of people don't like his vocals. It confuses me. I don't know why. Maybe it's too much for people, but I don't know, man. To each their own. But for me, I just gotta love Vedder's vocals. And I mean, the thing is Grunge Explosion had incredible singers here. I mean, we're talking Lane Staley's, we're talking, Chris Cornell's, and both of those guys I probably prefer over Eddie Vedder, but Eddie Vedder's still incredible here. So, yeah, so Once is basically kind of like a can't look back kind of song, obviously tinged with drug usage, and it's just a grunge explosion here. Definite guttural vocals here for sure on Once, and then we flow right into Even Flow, which I don't know if any of you guys play Guitar Hero 3, classic 2007 game, but this is a legendary track for me because of that game. I I don't know. I've heard this song a million times, but I still love it. Of course, it's one of the FM staples from the album. I don't know what is there to say. It's like an echo chamber here. Not the political term, but I mean in terms of illustrating the sound of this song, it's very just the resonance of Vedder's voice here is so incredible. And of course, the crunchy riffage here by McCready is, got to be mentioned. An excellent hit for the band. I mean, I think it's just one of those songs that just defined grunge at the time, and maybe one of the best takeaway tracks from 10. And the subject matter here is really like homelessness and being estranged due to drug usage, and oh man, what a great song here. Still resonates with me 100%. But we go into Alive next, which is maybe perhaps the biggest hit from Pearl Jam ever. Iconic riff. It's a legendary riff there from the 90s. Definitely a quintessential hit for the band. It's a more uplifting song. Of course, it still probably has to do with, drug abuse and drug usage. But, it's just a great song. I mean, I probably would say the solo here by McCready is a definite highlight of the album, maybe the best solo on the entire album. But yeah, I mean, the guitar tone on the song, the riff, it's one of their best songs, and there's a reason for it. Do I like it more than Even Flow? I don't know. I Even Flow is just, it's so nostalgic for me. It's that song that I knew before I knew about 10. So it's hard for me, but both great, obviously. What I noticed, the A side of this album has, obviously the huge heavy hitter hits, and the B side has those deeper cuts, and we'll get to it. But of course, we have Why Go, which is probably the obviously deepest song on side A. And this is great. It got, a little bit of vocal hooks from Vedder here. And this is definitely about mental health and institutionalization here, is the subject matter about, just the dreariness of institutionalized life and mental health, you know, institutions, which, interesting subject matter. Of course, there's just interesting subject matter on this album. It's dark, it's great. It's just one of those things that it'd be interesting to see what was going on in the brains of the guys at the time and what they were kind of taking from. Because I know the album itself is named after Mookie Blaylock of the New Jersey Nets. That's the namesake of the album. He's number 10. So I just don't understand. Maybe you could read into it, but probably a reason for everything. And of course, next we go into Black. Wow. I think this is probably the best song, I'll just say it. This is a somber and mournful, slow burning, just honestly, it's a, probably, I mean, I would say it's a song tinged with like lost love. It's dealing with, depression, lost love, what could have been. It's definitely the most poignant track on the album, if you ask me. And it takes the form of kind of like a ballad here, right? So the vocals here, the operatic vocals by Vedder to finish off this track with that melody, with that harmonized melody. Wow, guys! I mean, this is one of the best songs in the '90s, if you ask me. Just it's so powerful in its delivery. And of course, we go to Jeremy next, and Jeremy was once again another great hit for the band. Lots of FM airplay, and the subject matter here is interesting to me. Obviously, I think it has to deal with obviously school life and adolescent high school, trials, and apparently it's actually based on a suicide of a 15-year-old from Texas in 1991 named Jeremy, which once again is just some crazy subject matter and awesome to kind of bring light to that, because we look at the 90s and obviously we live in a different world now where we've had a lot of awful things happen in schools, just due to depression and mental health struggles. I think it was great for the band at the time to even bring lights to these. I mean, this is 8 years before Columbine, and they're still going into this stuff. So, yeah, I think this is just one of the best songs. I mean, that hook, maybe the best hook on the whole album. But yeah, interesting subject matter here, of course, and definitely a great hit for the band. Of course, that's the last song on the A side, and we go to the B side here. And we have the deep cuts here, and it starts off with Oceans. This song is very much a departure from the rest of the album's sound. It's very distorted with like kind of these submerged sounding Vedder vocals, which is awesome. And there's the powerful drum noise here as well. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's one of the stronger songs, but like I said, the namesake, it's a 10. I'm not gonna give this album a 10. I don't know if I'm ever gonna do that with an album, but it's a masterpiece. It's getting above a 9. But you could call this album a 10. I mean, they knew. I mean, this album, more than any other grunge album, I think has just no skips. It's just song after song after song. That's just great. So, and of course, after that, we go into Porch. And Porch is, once again, it's a deeper song, but it's still great. It's a good dynamic here from Oceans. It's got this great energy. It's just starts up and just is fast. Fast and vibrant here. So, what else is there to say about it? It's probably one of my weaker tracks, in my opinion, but it's still, a great rocker. And then we go into Garden, and here's where we hit gold for me. This is easily my favorite deep cut. Wow. Just driven by Vedder's crazy haunting register here. Such a great song. What is a shadow flag? I mean, the iconography in this song is interesting. I looked it up, and it's the box that holds a soldier's triangle flag that's been discharged from the army, either honorably, I believe, or dishonorably. I don't know. But that's what it is. I had to look that up. But it's kind of just interesting that they had these interesting lyrics on that song. But it's great. It's an awesome song. Wow. And then, of course, we go into Deep. This song illustrates drug addiction incredibly well. Here, it's just the stoner tinged riffage to begin it, and it's just you feel the the weight of drug addiction here. The lyrics are tinged with heroin use, needle use, obviously, and you know they're in too deep. I mean, what could you say better about hard drug usage is that once you open that box, you're in too deep. Definite haunting vocals here from Vedder, and it's a great track, for sure. And then we finish off the album with Release, which is it's about 5 minutes, but it's technically 9 minutes because the last half is kind of like a hidden track with trippy kind of vocals here with, little interesting instrumentals here. But Release in itself, a slower song. It's a slow burner, and I think it's kind of just an anthem dedicated to like fatherhood and the struggles of that regarding that. Great song, great song, great album, great album to start grunge with. I'm a huge grunge fan, and I mean I gotta give this album. I'm gonna have to say this album's probably about a 9.6. It's one of the best albums of the '90s for sure. It's shoo-in for perhaps the best grunge album of all time. It's a 9.6. It's so awesome. I mean, just heavy hitting track after heavy hitting track. It's easily probably my favorite Pearl Jam record, and it's their debut. I mean, one of the best debuts ever. I mean, guys, come on, it's so good. And it shows. I mean, it's 13 times platinum. That's crazy, guys. I mean, it might. I'd have to check on it. It might be one of the best-selling albums of the '90s. Period. So, yeah, definitely give it a listen. It's definitely a pickup. I have the reissue from 2009 that has the Redux production. Great album cover too. We got the guys, kind of an homage to the namesake basketball. They're in a huddle here, and is it one of my favorite grunge covers? Probably not, but the original one was pink, but this one is awesome. Yeah, 9.6 for me, guys. It's definitely a masterpiece of the '90s, and one of top 3 grunge albums ever, if you ask me. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed my 10 subscriber special with 10 by Pearl Jam, 1991. I've enjoyed reviewing this album. It's a great album, so hope everyone enjoyed, and make sure you click like, subscribe, and comment. Hope to see you guys soon with another review. So, once again, this is Mike from Big Fat Goes Vinyl. Thank you for watching.